Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Icenia campaign. Last time, we founded the city in Manawia, which is still being constructed. Let me check that I'm recording. Yes, I am. And then the other thing that we did was we took over, I think it was called Rabogdia. That's at least the name of the settlements in that part of northern Hibernia. It may have had a variant name on Rabogdia where the syllables were switched around. That's been a recurring thing with some of these tribal nations and the names of their settlements, but whatever. The other thing that I did before this recording session started was I actually caught a potential disaster. My mic was not toggled on again. That one time I didn't notice that, and I had to do some post-recording to make the episode in the end. This time I actually noticed it and switched it before I started, so I'm quintuple checking that we're good. We are good. All right, cool. Now, the reason I have Brigantia open here, the reason their I guess, nation sheet is open, is that'll be the focus of this episode, or at least the beginning of this episode. We've done a lot of the various small goals we've had in the short term, and we've kind of consolidated the territory that we still could consolidate. Now, the other, I should also mention before talking about Brigantia, the other obvious thing we can do consolidation-wise is take this territory that is in Icenia, currently controlled by Venetia, who we could very much target, and I think we will target once we have the political influence to fabricate a claim, so we'll have to do that. We'll have to wait till we have 20. The other thing we need to do is we need to finally integrate Brigantia, our long-term, kind of conceptually... Ooh, I just dropped something. Kind of conceptually bizarre feudatory up here. As has been noted in the comments, it's not entirely clear why their feudatory status is possible, but whatever the case, we're going to not worry about it too much. We're just going to integrate them and not try to set up future feudatories in this part of the world with this kind of nation. Now, the issue with integration is we need to have 190 opinion from them to us, which is just a matter of time. This is an instance where if we look at the list of modifiers, a lot of these are just kind of getting better over time, and the trend has been Brigantia's opinion of us improving. But we're going to have to put in some work to improve this more. And we can get a flat, almost 8-point improvement just by bribing them. But, let's see. Where is... Okay, yeah, so let me rephrase that. Send gift is the flat bribe. That gives us 25. And then this actually is only a cap of 7.91. I think the reason this is so low, this is the actual overtime investment version. Sorry, I should have read that before I hit record and start talking about it, but here we are. I think the reason that number isn't very high is it's actually still, we recently finished improving relations with them. If we look at this, we can see improved relations 102. I'm suspecting the cap on improved relations is 110, and that 102 plus the now gainable almost 0.8 gets us to the 110 relationship cap. I think one of our actual, oh my gosh, someday I'll find it immediately. Where is it? Not that one. I don't remember where it is, but I think we had a relationship cap, or improved opinion cap booster policy. Is that what those are called? Idea, available around here somewhere, but of course we didn't go for it. That's fine. I still think these are the best ideas that I could have had this whole time. Permanent shipyards definitely paying off. I know my naval focus has perhaps been a bit perplexing, but if we take a look again at the situation globally, I'm scared of this number. You should be scared of this number. I mean, we're almost, comparable to Carthage, the historical champion of naval warfare in this period. So the fact that Carthage has almost half the naval power of Rome just speaks for itself. If we look at Rome's contemporaries, I guess the Getia is sort of comparable, but they're obviously a tribal nation, so... Or actually, are they? What kind of nation are they? They're a tribal nation, actually, yeah, so they're only at 11. Antigonids have about the same number of ships as Carthage. Macedon is in a pretty bad state, only have 33. How about Egypt? Okay, 87. So Egypt is a pretty powerful nation at this point, especially. How about the Seleucids? Seleucids aren't very naval-focused, but even they have 65. So Carthage is being outgunned by the Seleucids, who don't even have one single coastline. They're split across multiple coastlines, including not very helpful coastlines like the Mare Hyrcanum. How about Maria? 68. Yeah, Maria's not very navally focused either. So Rome having a huge navy is kind of bizarre, but given that they haven't connected their territory between their Italian heartland and their kind of Illyrian conquests and their Greco conquests, I think that speaks to why they've maybe gone a bit of a naval focus. They've also gone for permanent shipyards, so that's some good AI stuff happening there as an example. But yeah, and so Rome having such an enormous navy is definitely a little alarming, but the thing is, we actually do have the infrastructure and the economy to facilitate a truly gigantic navy or multiple large navies that can cooperate together. Again, I'm not 100% sure in this game if there's any reason to not have one naval death stack. In my limited research on the wiki, and maybe now that I mentioned this, someone will leave a helpful comment. The comments, by the way, I love. Please continue leaving comments. Super good for me. It gives me a lot of important insight into some of those mechanics I still don't quite have a grasp on. But yeah, and so essentially, I'm just going to proceed assuming that Boyrix or some other competent commander can be in charge of the entire navy, just to keep it together for safety purposes, and it basically can't be touched by anything in this area. We have no contemporaries around here with anywhere near that kind of naval power. Even the future naval menaces like the North Germans aren't really in a position to have strong navies, for the reasons we didn't have a strong navy at the start of the series, but we do now. All that being said, the naval investment is going to continue, and once this round of upgrades, getting up to, what we're getting to, 40 and 15, then we'll, or hold on, 40 and 20, sorry, I misspoke, 40 and 20, then we'll probably continue upgrading, and also building up ports and whatnot. Also, I look back on older episodes. I don't know if Dora Werner ever did have a level 3 port. At least a few episodes ago, it still had a level 2 port, but I think it did have 7 slots. It has bounced around on the pop capacity scale. I think the issue here is that Londinium has such a massive appeal as a location in Cantiacia. Population is likelier to go there, or alternatively, because it is actually a lower pop than Dura Vernum, the fact that we've just invested so many city slots into Londinium through our investitures just has kind of made me not realize that the 6 slots of Dura Vernum is actually pretty standard for a city of this size. Either way, I think I'm not going to destroy any buildings to make room for a third port. So far, it's been okay to only have Londinium be our level 3 port. I do want to build a level 3 port in Ulconum at some point. Possibly this episode, honestly, because I think having Ulconum be a major naval hub just makes too much sense to not do. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make those investments now ahead of doing my further naval expansion. Okay, so in terms of actually getting Brigantia up to the 190 that we need, we're going to have to basically wait through those malices declining and think of anything else we can do to boost our relationship with them. Now, on recently declared war, which was that war from 30 years ago or something like that, 20-something years ago, I think that's at a yearly tick. I guess it could be a monthly tick, but it seems as though if it's 0.2 per month, we would have passed through that malice already, so not entirely sure. I guess we'll find out pretty quickly if that's a yearly or monthly tick. I suspect those are yearly ticks, though, just given that. So, all that being said, we're going to have to spend some money here. We're going to get this going again, even though this doesn't give us that much. I guess I could wait for that, honestly. Let's see, do I have a send gift thing already? I don't think I do. Subject to Casus Belli. I don't think we can get rid of our Casus Belli on them. No, it's permanent. That's irritating. I guess we'll just have to hopefully have more wars that we draw them into to become co-belligerents and get bonuses like that. That's one approach for sure. Alright, let's go ahead and let's hold off a bit, and we'll check back and see how these numbers are changing. If it is on a yearly basis, this will have to be a longer-term process, as we won't be able to get to 190 with any actions we can do right now. All right, so that's that. Now, let's go ahead and actually unpause the game here. And we are... I think our soldiers are all stood down, as far as I can tell. Yeah, that's all fine. Right. Now, over here in Hibernia Septem Orientalis, The province loyalty is back into a bad state, but yeah, just like that, now that there's been a monthly tick, it is now under control again. Winoma is doing a pretty good job. Now let's look again at Brigantia. I don't think those changed at all, so I think those are yearly ticks. So that's good to know. Great, so we're just continuing to build up stuff here. I think there's 2 more X-rays being built here. No, there's in fact 4 more Hex-rays. Hex-rays just take a really long time to build, it seems like. Right. Well, our aggressive expansion is now at 0, as is our war exhaustion, so we definitely want to produce some aggressive expansion somehow. But who can we target? We have claims still on the northern tribe, so perhaps another northern war is on the table here. But where to target to? Well, we do have a casus belli on Kerwetia, and we don't have a truce with them anymore. So we could go after the nation that we formed over here, or some other thing we could do. Is there any purpose at all to... Because I'm just thinking we need to do something with our 0 aggressive expansion. There's some war we can do somewhere that makes some sense. I don't suppose we have any Gallic. No. And we'll have to wait till we have 20 political influence to get a claim. I'm thinking, by the way, that my next mainland target is going to be Venetia. We can get a claim on them through fabrication, and then consolidate our control over the Alsacia province with that Venetian territory. Right, the first granary is done. Very good. Sorry, this is going to be probably a pretty low-key infrastructure-themed episode again, just because we're in the middle of not having any political influence. But there is going to be some great construction going on all over the place. Very good. I guess we could go after this little nation down here and just kind of wipe them out to get rid of them, but I'm not very concerned about them, honestly. They're literally trapped behind my fort, so not much they can do anyways. Alright, what's this? Prosperity. Under the guidance of Arion Arhad Urkea, Britannia has gone from strength to strength. Alright, so we get this event again. Probably better to get the stability. Even though the taxes would be nice, I do think the stability is still more important, so we're going to go for that. Solid stuff. Now the new head of the Calatii, well, it's not new, but the fairly new head of the Calatii family is on the cusp of disloyalty. And the head of the Welbia family also. Oh my gosh, alright. Power base isn't a problem yet, so we're not going to worry too much about that. Just gotta wait for 20 political influence, so we're just gonna take a year or so here and chill out. So I'm trying to make sense of this attrition mechanic for ships. So supply limit is 46, but the weight is 53. Maximum of 5% in this location. So is it because they're in a port, there's no problem? Speaking of ports. So if I went out to sea, let's just come out to the Thames and take a look and see. Unit weight is 53, supply limit is 0, maximum of 20. So I don't really understand at all how supply limit works for navies in this game. Well, they have no attrition, so I guess it's fine, so we're not going to worry about it too much, but pretty mysterious. What is this about? Looks like Ustia, who are a nation down here, they were at war with Coriondia. Okay, it looks like what happened is they actually purchased mercenaries who I think were living in Cornoia, so that's why there's mercs running around down here. Alright, once again, we got the stratocratic monarchy thing. Someone did mention that you can disable the decision pop-up, but I think I'd rather keep it on and just do it like that, because this way, if any other decision becomes available, I might be interested, I might want to look at it. Although the decisions that would become available are all ones I wouldn't take, except obviously this one, which is a very long-term ways away. So I'm going to leave it like that, but good thing to know either way. Alright. I guess, okay, so it says here the weight of the First Navy is 0, so I guess they don't have a weight. Maybe that's attrition when there's men on the ships, is what that means. That would make a lot more sense, at least. Did I turn off my... Okay, good, I did. And this, I can probably... Yeah, I can definitely get away with that. Let's get some more noble happiness. Okay, we bring sad news. Andy Combogius Dewicus, who was a long-term important researcher character in the family, has died impaled on a battering ram. I don't know how that happened, but okay. I guess he was doing some hands-on research, you could say, into battering rams. Well, we need a new researcher now. Let's go ahead and pick someone. That was a Dewika assignment as well, so now this is a chance to get another family perhaps into the position here. 8 zeal, is that fine? Because that's an Urkii. 8 zeal versus 11 zeal. I don't think I'm too concerned about having super frequent religious advancements, so I think for things like this, like if I can get a character who's like 7 or higher into these government slots, I'm not going to min-max above that point. So let's get another Urkii in. This will get them above the threshold there for safety purposes. Also a very loyal character. Not that researchers tend to have a lot of power base in my experience, but they do, you know, it is something to keep in mind. So Caradwin Urkii is now the researcher. That's fine. Very good. Right, our ships are gathering. Granary is done, which means that this is done. Once we have 600 gold, actually, the first time in a long while where we actually don't have enough gold for something. And once we click this button, it will use up the 600 gold and put us, for the first time in dozens of episodes, into actually an economically insufficient position. So that's kind of interesting. We're going to go for it. So we obviously invested a whole bunch of stuff into making this happen. Granary of Britannia. Let's go ahead and click that. All right, so it didn't give us the pop-up, so let's read it. Can I read it? I guess I can't read it now that it's done. That's very strange. Anyways, well, the effect it had was it added a ton of food capacity to Banawenta, and I think it also... What else did it do? See, now I wish I read it, because I don't remember the other modifier it did. Not sure. I'll check the footage to see what it did, but it did something useful to the region. We'll just proceed from there. Anyways, the next mission available now is Expand Trade in Kantiakia, which requires actually these other ones to be done too, so I need to actually complete these two. Okay, so this requires Isca Dumnonorium to be the capital, or it just requires it to have city status? I can never tell with the... I think it requires both, so I don't want to move the capital over to Isca Dumnonorum. Olconum's such a better capital location, and it's already being invested in so much. Here's the issue. If I move the capital and then do the mission and then move it back, right, that's going to cost me 60 loyalty. And in the past, we had an issue with this province with the capital being shifted around by me winning a war, so I've had experiences with this province having bad loyalty. This is a pretty important sort of like frontline province for my naval ambition, so I don't want to be messing around with that loyalty. So unfortunately, this mission line just isn't very doable. I kind of thought that I could just proceed to here, but I guess I need to have all 3 of these missions complete to proceed. And that's frustrating because this bonus to Londinium is pretty powerful as well. Okay, so let's not worry about that for now. What does this one require? I need to build a grand theater in the city Isca Dumnorum. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Why couldn't this have just given this set of objectives to the actual city who's here, Olconum? Whatever. So this requires 800 gold. We need to have... let's see... I got confused by this list of objectives before. One of the following must be true. So Ordowikia needs to produce or import a bunch of resources. Yeah, that's not... Yeah, I don't have any way to get that many imports over here. So again, that's another mission that may not proceed very far. Ordowikia... I would like to switch this to something else, that resource. Oh, there's actually a whole bunch more down here. Oh yeah, because I have a wonder in Connetio. I have Stonehenge. I didn't even notice this lower tree. Elevate Connetio. Okay. Interesting. So I don't want to necessarily abandon this mission, because I don't think I have any other missions except for Conquest of Caledonia set up yet. Although now I have territory down here, a conquest mission around this region would actually be very helpful, but I can't even tell unless I abort this mission. So now I've got to decide, do I continue down this mission? I did get that big food bonus from here. I've gotten these other bonuses from here too. Or, so do I book this mission and chance it that I get a conquest mission down here, and if I don't, I just have to wait to pick a mission until I get a conquest mission down here? Or do I proceed and try and just, because let's see, this is basically not doable for several decades because of the loyalty cost of switching the provincial capital around. This one is not doable because I just can't get enough. Yeah, I just don't think I can proceed because the lower stuff down here with Connetio that I want to do, it's locked behind these unbelievably, specific and difficult things to do, just given how much time it will take for the loyalty to facilitate that provincial capital switcheroo. So yeah, unfortunately I have to just abort this mission. Alright, so as I thought, there'd be no further mission available, so we're going to not take a mission now. We'll have to wait for one to generate around here. I don't know what the prerequisite of that will be, but for now we'll have to proceed without the missions being our guidepost, which is a shame, because the missions do provide a nice structure for the series, but not a requirement for sure. Oh, this is an alarming long save. What's the issue here? Come on. Don't do anything weird on me. Just save and then proceed, please. Is my recording going okay? Looks like it is. Oh, hello. I think our recording is still good, but the game is freezing up now. This is actually the first time it's done this on camera. So I'm not entirely sure what the issue is. Let's see. My computer's having... Oh, here we go. Okay, we're good. Kind of alarming, but nothing came of that, so that's fine. So I'm thinking, by the way, that my first... Oh, hello. You freezing again? No, I got an event. I don't know what the game is having some trouble right now. The struggle between the religious echelons of our society and the peasants has recently come into light, as the populace at large feels that, like the religious ceremonies, are inaccessible and distant. On the other hand, our high priest and his attendants demand the distance needed to do their jobs properly, and argue, a little typo there, the peasants have no right to the inner workings of our religious ceremonies. Okay, so we've had this event before. This character his loyalty is pretty secure. I'm not going to worry too much about getting his loyalty at the cost of 5 stability. Definitely not. This middle ground option looks pretty solid. Or get tons of stability, weaken my Omen power, which the Omen is giving Donis, who has recently just suffered some male pattern baldness by the looks of things. It's given him some popularity, but his popularity is pretty secure now. Let's see. State religion happiness. Well, all of my people are all the same religion, so that would help actually quite a bit. Lose loyalty with that guy and gain the most stability. I think the current situation calls for this option. The peasants are right, it is time to open the gates of the temple. Alright, we have a lot of stability now. Solid stuff. And Donis is actually reaching an age where I need to start thinking about succession again. Now, when Winoma is now the new successor, again, for the reasons I talked about a few episodes ago, but she is unmarried and childless. Her being chaste probably has helped with that. Because even when... before the unmarried Donis, who again got married later, was the king and she couldn't get married, when Donman was around, she could have gotten married the whole time and she just chose not to, so that's fine. So we may have a transitional monarchy with an old Winoma as the queen before the younger Buit takes over, as I kind of originally planned, because Donis didn't end up having any children with Karsuna, so I guess it was okay that I went with her. I think I may have been a bit, I don't know, I may have been a little too presumptive trying to have Donis lead into the next generation. I think the original idea of having Buit do it still makes more sense, ultimately, because he actually has kids. Anyways. Also, in a very cursed... wait, hold on. Go back to that. Oh my gosh, where is it? That was super cursed. Let's go back to that. He named his 2 children Donwin and Segawak, so he named his girl and boy after his parents. I guess that's not super cursed, but it's like kind of weird. I don't know, I'm not going to think about that. Let's just proceed. Okay, so do I want to actually target Venetia as my first military target with the next claim, or do I want to target some other person? I could always speed up the Brigantian... Oh, hello, Martial Advance. Alright, this all looks fine. I could always speed up the Brigantian integration by canceling my relationship with them and then just declaring war on them, but that would take a long time and be complicated, so I'm just going to wait out their weird malices and integrate them the way I thought I could originally. That should be fine. Okay, so what do I want to focus on now? Anything here that matters a lot to me. Now, I think I was going towards, over in the Oratory, I actually got Town Criers, so I already got that. Anything else around here I really want to get? Dip Rep is okay. Change governor policy would be nice to get early on, as this does add up, and it is a political influence cost-saving maneuver. Because I'm thinking it may even be around the time I could potentially shift some of my conquered provinces away from local autonomy. That'd be a pretty substantial change, so I may need to think about that more. But getting this now and then not having to worry about getting this later is kind of nice. I could always get this. I am actually at a place where I have... Oh my good lord. 9,120... Where did this manpower max come from? I wasn't anywhere near this just like last episode. What in the world? What is modifying this so dramatically? I don't know how to explain that one, but we actually could make use of triumphal coins right now and then immediately start doing some warfare to use up that manpower. Or something else. Of course, there's always something else. And we could also get the whole triumph cost reduction. We haven't had any triumphs yet. That could be kind of fun. But the issue is, if this manpower maximum changes again, I would have potentially wasted a ton of manpower. But then again, if I grab triumphal coins, I am leading the way down towards other really good options down here. Let's go back to that in a moment. I think potentially getting integrated culture happiness 2% is so powerful. Also, provincial loyalty +2 is really good as well. We're going to be conquering a lot of land pretty soon, so... Or this, honestly, because, we're going to be conquering a lot of land pretty soon, so... I think I'm going to go for accepted rights. I don't need tons of manpower right now, the way that advancement would give me, so... Or that advancement. So we're going to go for accepted rights. This is just a flat-out really good option, especially now that we're reaching a point where most of our conquests are dealing with with cultures outside of our culture group. So let's do accepted rights. All right, compiling a list of accepted religious rights as often practiced by foreigners within our realm will grant a certain degree of security to our foreign populace. Very good. Okay, that's that. Let's resume. So I could target Venetia and consolidate in Osismia. And what I could also do, who's their allies? They're in a huge defense... Okay, actually, this is perfect. This is actually perfect. They're in a giant defensive league all over here, which means I suddenly have a large number of targets. Perhaps I should have done the manpower one after all. This is going to be a much bigger war than I sort of imagined. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get a... And I'm going to go for this either way, and then I'll explain why once I fabricate the claim on Osismia. Okay, so here's the plan. We go after Venetia, mainly to secure Osismia's territory, I mean. And then Venetia is part of this big defensive league all along kind of the northwestern Gallic area. So they're in a defensive league with Namnetia, with Pictonia, with Santonia, with their direct neighbor with me, Curio Solida, and also with this revolts from... this is kind of weird. The Redonians have this revolt that they have I don't know how the Revolt managed to join the League. That's kind of bizarre, but I guess they're not friends with Redonia, so they've allied with Redonia's civil war. I don't know what's going on there, but either way, you know what this looks like to me is an enormous amount of territorial expansion in the exact direction I've been planning to expand. And it would get me down to the Garumna River. I would really like to get down to this river. It's a really natural defensive line to sort of reach to and control this part of the coast. So this would be a pretty substantial war. I would be dealing with quite a large number of players, but not super dangerous militarily, especially if I'm able to bring along some mercenaries. So which means I actually do need to start to save up my money again, because this may be quite the expensive affair. And all their navies together is nowhere near strong enough. Some of them don't even have navies to really deal with my navy. So I'll have naval dominance for sure. So yeah, that looks pretty interesting. And let's see, how far away is this claim going to be done? It's going to be done in the middle of 514. So perhaps we'll have to wait once that's done to start the war, as this will be a very substantial war, probably the first big complicated war that we'll have had in quite some time. But this is a 5 birds with 1 stone situation. Kind of exciting, good to be honest. Haven't done a nice big war in a while, so that'll be pretty fun. And over here, things are stabilized. Look at this stability. Winoma, you beautiful, beautiful governor. 0.08, that is gorgeous. How about down here? She's getting there. She's learning, you know, she's kind of getting it together. All right, Port in Olconum is done. Olconum can now build hexarrays, so that's pretty exciting. And I think what I will do is I will cancel this one that's, well, it's almost there, so there's no real reason to cancel that one that's there. But now Olconum can be a really natural jumping off point for our naval adventure down here. Hopefully it doesn't become a naval misadventure. Yeah, hopefully not, at least. Anyway, so that's pretty good. We have ourselves a plan. Any other laws we want to change? I guess we can't quite yet. I don't know the political influence, but I could do something around here. But I think I will just stick with noble retinues for now. That seems fine. Yeah, that definitely seems fine. All right. Any other missions available yet? Nope. Still not. I'll have to look on the wiki after this episode and see how the missions work, how they get generated. Red-handed. Several nights ago, Diwico Orgatorus was discovered helping himself to a sizable quantity of gold from the National Treasury. This is clearly a serious crime. However, there's something to be said for sweeping affairs like this under the carpet. Okay, so I could get some popularity with Donis. Britannia has lost some money. That's kind of annoying. And Diwico loses some health and probably also some loyalty. Or Donis takes a popularity hit, but Diwico gets some loyalty. Diwico's pretty loyal, honestly, so I'm just going to chance it here. My hipster court philosopher, this is kind of irritating, but we'll just have to go for it. I don't want to lose pop with my king right now. Would potentially be an issue. Where are you coming? Oh, yeah, you're coming from there. I was like, what's my ship doing down there? How's Rome doing, by the way? They are doing pretty good. No wars currently. Carthage is not looking to be in the best of states. Let's suppose, Carthage, you have any interest in me. It's pretender support. It's irritating. Let's see. Nowhere close. Border distance isn't helping. As we move our... having a border here will do quite a bit to improve our border distance with Carthage. So that should be fine. Another thing I was thinking about is there any reason to try and colonize, not in like the gameplay, like mechanical sense, but in the kind of conceptual sense, take over territory from North Germany, or kind of like the Scandinavian region? Not really. There's not really a lot of valuable resources over here. There's not really a lot of mineral resources, I should really say, the way that there were in, you know, like Wales and whatnot. So nothing too exciting. Lots of pretty standard stuff. Yeah, so I'm not too worried about that. Of course, the land isn't terrible, for sure. Some good resources. But I'm not going to worry too much about it. Maybe a longer-term plan. So this manpower max is staying. I need to, again, on the wiki, look and see. Because I know manpower max is mostly based on freemen and citizens, but unless I just have a lot of freemen I didn't have before, that doesn't really add up to me. I'm mostly made up of slaves, and they're definitely not contributing to my manpower. Pretty bizarre. I don't know what to make of that. Yeah. No idea whatsoever. Alright, so we're not going to be able to use the missions here. We're going to have to do all this developing of claims ourselves. We got some more stability from Diana Dewika, our Chancellor, and the wife of Buit. So, very good. Alright, we have a lot of stability now. But not enough political influence to do anything with it. Now, once we get to 20, we can also generate another claim, which would be quite greedy of us. But these claims in this game are permanent, so there's no reason to not do it if we have nothing else to use the influence for right away. So is there another target in Europe that we want to go for? Or not in Europe, perhaps. We could expand our presence on Hibernia, which wasn't something I was going to do right away, but we could do it. I don't suppose we can... No, Iblana doesn't have 8 pops currently. It's gone up to 8 before, but not at the moment. Yeah, there's no other nations in this region at all, so even if we established a presence here, there's nothing militarily we could do. We could start working on this region and going after Kaukia, who's diplomatically isolated. Honestly, it's so annoying that a nation that's this diplomatically isolated, you still have to pay for a claim for. But anyone else who would bring in a large alliance to make it a little bit of an easier fight. So these two are allies. They're both fighting the war with Coriandia. So let's actually wait a bit down here, because these nations will probably conquer each other, and then we'll come in once things are cleared up. I don't want to have to fight a war and then have the war end in like a white peace because the claim got sort of consumed up by another war, which puts Kaukia on the chopping block as my next Hibernian target. But this is such a low stakes target, really not a priority at all. It would just be to, like, quote unquote secure the border in a very technical sense. They're not really a danger to me whatsoever, and that fort in Ablania doesn't make them a danger. Honestly, like, I have to think about that more. Is there anyone else around here who would make for a good target? If I could just colonize these lands. Now that Manawi is going to be a city, it's going to make colonizing these lands a lot easier, by the way. So perhaps that is one solution. Another nation that would be an interesting target is Morinia. Because Morinia, of course, is by the Straits of Dover. They're very, like, by the crow flies, they're very close to my land, so they're certainly an obvious target. The former occupant of this land, Manapia, is in pretty bad state. You are allied with Nuria, so there'd be a pretty large kind of Belgic fight over here. And you're in a defensive league with Nuria as well, and with Manapia. Okay, so this whole block here would fight together. That's really handy. Okay, yeah, so this is split across several different... Plus also, part of this is actually not in the Belgica region. But a presence in Belgica is definitely something we want to pursue. Let's see. I think we'd want to target... Who do we want to target? Probably Marinia's section of Marinia. Yeah. So I think Marinia we're going to generate a claim on as well. We have to wait a few months for that to go. Lots of preparation in this episode. So hopefully that's interesting for all of you. Me kind of planning out my longer-term military strategies is, of course, a central feature of the game for me, so I'm enjoying it. All right, 60 with no attrition. That's pretty good. Solid stuff. We're really blowing through our money pretty quick here to do all this stuff, but I think it is, in the end, going to be worth it. All right, so Marinia is going to be on the chopping block as well. Of course, we're not going to do these wars at the same time. That'd be pretty wild. But we are going to get these claims set up in succession here. Probably going to claim on the Marinia, which is where most of their pops are anyways. All right, so with that being said, we are now halfway towards the claim, and the fight, rather, over in sort of, let's call this the kind of, let's see, the Venetia War, and then we're starting off the progression towards the Mauritanian War. So we're going to be fighting the Gauls in the northwest and kind of the Belgii over here in the far northeast, and securing more and more of the coast of Gaul as we proceed to establish a foothold in Europe. So thank you so much for watching. This is going to be the end point of this episode, and I will see you all next time.